morning, afternoon, or evening to everyone. My name is Kirstein, Jene, DeLeon from grade 10 Copernicus. Let us talk about adaptation and survival of organisms in the changing world, where a lot of organisms need to adapt or to change due to the changing world to be able to comfortably survive. But first, let us talk about adaptation. Adaptation is a structure or behavior by which the species gradually or rapidly becomes better suited to survive in a given environment. All organisms are dependent to one another and to the environment where it belongs to survive. The process of who, which will be eaten and who, which will establish the balance and flow of energy in an ecosystem. The one that is being eaten gives energy to those dependent on them, and eventually, the one receives the energy brings back the energy to the ecosystem, the time it decomposes. Now we know the definition of adaptation based on the organism to survive in a different environment. Next one, let us talk about adaptation for survival. Organisms tend to be adaptive to a certain change on its environment, most especially when a sudden mutation happens in its genetic materials. When the organisms learn to adapt, they can be able to survive and continue their species. If they can adapt, they have less chance of survival. They have structural adaptation, which means that certain parts of their bodies can be used to catch food for survival. To sum it all up, adaptation is the adjustment of organisms to their environment in order to improve their chances at survival in that environment. It helps the organisms to cope up with the environment in order to survive. All organisms need to adapt to their habitat to be able to survive. Organisms can adapt to an environment in different ways, like an adaptation in the organism's body to be able to survive, or they can also exhibit behavioral adaptation. Now, knowing the definition of adaptation for survival, where the organisms tend to change their body in order to survive in a given environment. But now, let's talk about their structural adaptation. Here are the following examples. Number 1. The longer the beak of the bird, the higher the chance it will get more food. Number 2. The leaves of a maple tree ripened and fell out during winter just to conserve water inside its body. Number 3. Long tongue of snake and frog, long neck of giraffe due to high competition for food. And number 4. Colorful flowers of plants to attract bees and butterflies for a high chance of pollination. Number 5. Penguins have a thick fat that keeps their body warm when in cold sea. And finally, number 6. The number of fingers helps animals to feed themselves. Therefore, I'ma say this once again. Adaptation is very important to every organism out there to be able to survive in a new or changing environment. This can change their physical appearance, or they might exhibit some behavioral adaptation in order to survive.